I don't got shit to say. Like, they keep saying shit about you though on bees.
I'm at the bank.
Why would you say that, bro?
Well, they need to get off your top.
The internet didn't just wake up, it woke up. Screaming when news broke that Chrisean Rock's 19-year-old husband allegedly trapped her in a full-blown bank fraud scheme so messy it makes the Kardashians look like a church choir. This wasn't drama. This wasn't gossip. This was a Hollywood-grade plot twist written by someone who clearly hates peace. The minute the receipts leaked, people went viral online, connecting dots, dragging screenshots, and diagnosing the situation like they suddenly became FBI agents with overtime pay. Eyewitnesses, bloggers, and messy cousins of messy cousins all swear the same thing. Chrisean didn't fall into fraud. She got pushed. And the person doing the pushing, a teenager she married faster than you can spell red flag. The way this boy allegedly used her name, her account, her influence, and her trust. It felt like watching someone steal a celebrity's purse on live TV. Except this time, the purse was a federal crime. And now, the cops are circling like sharks in blood-red water. Investigators want answers. Fans want justice. And Chrisean, she wants to know how she ended up married, broke, betrayed, and under police heat before she even hit her next birthday. This scandal isn't just wild, it's volcanic. And the explosion hasn't even started. From the moment the first rumor leaked, the internet didn't just panic, it malfunctioned. People were scrolling like their thumbs were on fire, trying to understand how Chrisean Rock went from chaotic but iconic to accidentally married into a federal crime. The narrative hit the timeline like a meteor. Her 19-year-old husband, the same kid who barely looks old enough to rent a car. Allegedly used her name in a bank fraud scheme so sloppy it could only be masterminded by someone with zero life experience and maximum stupidity. Fans stared at their screens like, is this real life or an unpaid Zeus network script? What made it worse was how casually the details spilled out. Tweets claimed he opened accounts under her information. Screenshots floated around showing suspicious transfers. And the wildest part, people said he bragged about it, bragged like fraud was a hobby he picked up between Xbox games and arguing on Instagram Live. He allegedly moved money like he was delivering pizzas fast, messy, and absolutely not legal. And Chrisean, she was too busy fighting the internet, her family, Blueface's ghost, and her own emotions to notice her new husband turning her into an unwilling accomplice. As soon as blogs picked up the story, it spread like wildfire. Headlines called him reckless, dangerous, and the youngest scammer in Hollywood history. Some even compared him to a Dollar Tree Bonnie and Clyde situation, except Clyde doesn't know what APR means and Bonnie is too stressed to breathe. Fans started collecting clues, connecting dots, and dragging his name through every corner of the internet. It felt like a worldwide group project to expose him. And honestly, everyone was getting it a plus. People began questioning how a 19-year-old even convinces someone as unpredictable as Chrisean to get married in the first place. Then they remembered, Chrisean has 30 personalities, all of them impulsive, none of them checking paperwork. The internet swore she skipped past every red flag like she was speedrunning a video game. Now the same boy she defended, promoted, and practically adopted had allegedly set her up with a crime that could put adult people behind bars. The irony was disrespectful. Then came the eyewitnesses. They claimed Chrisean had no idea her husband was using her accounts, calling the bank, or forging signatures. They said she was blindsided, the same way she gets blindsided in every life decision. According to sources, investigators began looking at her because the transactions were under her name. Police don't care about who planned it. They care about whose name is on the papers. That's when fans started screaming, "Oh no! He didn't just scam, he scammed through her." Her supporters felt rage instantly. They said she was manipulated, used, emotionally groomed, and tricked by a boy who shouldn't even be trusted with gas money. They accused him of targeting her fame, her money, and her vulnerability. People wrote paragraphs about how she deserved better, how she keeps falling into traps, and how the world refuses to give her a break. Even people who normally clown Chrisean softened up for 5 minutes because this situation was darker than anything she'd stumbled into before. Meanwhile, conspiracy theorists built their own storyline. They claimed the 19-year-old married her specifically to gain access to her identity, her paperwork, and whatever financial crumbs she had left after battling Blueface for 3 years straight. This wasn't a relationship, they said. This was a mission. They swore he love-bombed her into legal vulnerability. They swore he moved fast because he knew once she smelled the fraud, she'd swing first and ask questions later. The theories were wild, but the energy felt disturbingly accurate. Then a new layer surfaced. The bank reportedly flagged multiple transactions connected to both their names. According to rumors, investigators followed the trail and noticed patterns. Patterns that screamed fraud, money laundering. And to people who absolutely do not know what they're doing, cops allegedly began contacting people connected to Chrisean. Friends, family, associates, anyone who might know why a grown woman and a teenage husband were moving money like a reverse GoFund campaign. The internet immediately panicked. They said, if the cops think she's involved, they won't go easy. This wasn't influencer drama. This wasn't a beef. This wasn't a club fight. This was federal-level chaos. The kind of chaos where the wrong signature can ruin your entire adult life. Fans began begging Chrisean online, leave him, run, get a lawyer. Stop marrying people younger than your wigs. But Chrisean was nowhere to be found, not online. Not live, not renting, not denying anything. And silence from Chrisean is scarier than one of her screaming matches. People started pulling up his old posts. The minute they saw he was 19, everything clicked into place. A 19-year-old with access to a grown woman's money. Disaster, a 19-year-old with her passwords. Apocalypse, a 19-year-old with her legal documents. Straight to jail. Fans said he wasn't a husband. He was a walking, talking red flag with Wi-Fi. They compared him to a scammer NPC from a video game programmed only to ruin lives. And unfortunately, he picked a celebrity whose life was already hanging by duct tape. Meanwhile, his supporters, the 3 people who actually defend him, claimed he didn't set her up. He accidentally involved her. Accidentally. People don't accidentally commit fraud using someone else's information. That's not a slip-up. That's a strategy. Critics snapped back, saying he knew exactly what he was doing and he saw Chrisean's chaos as the perfect cover. Because let's be honest, when Chrisean is wilding out online, nobody is checking her bank account. Then a chilling rumor surfaced. Law enforcement contacted her, not him. Because the fraud was in her name. And that sent the entire internet into spiritual crisis. People freaked out. Is she going to jail? Is he going to flip on her? Did he plan this? Is she finally paying for someone else's mess? It felt like watching a Netflix thriller unfold in real time, except this one didn't come with a pause button, and just when the tension reached its peak. Another plot twist hit. Someone close to Chrisean allegedly said she felt set up. Those 2 words alone broke the timeline. Because if she believes it, then this scandal is 10 times deeper than anyone expected. The drama wasn't just messy, it was dangerous. The moment the scandal hit, every blog from Hollywood unlocked to the messy cousin pages on Facebook. The internet turned into a digital riot. Celebrities, influencers, trolls, ex-friends, and random people who don't even like Chrisean suddenly had opinions like they were court-appointed analysts. The reactions weren't calm, they were explosive. Some people laughed, others panicked, and a large group screamed, "We told her about that boy." The timeline lit up like New Year's Eve on Fast Forward. Then came the celebrities with their classic vague, "I'm not naming names, but I'm definitely naming names" quotes. One rapper tweeted, "Ain't no way a grown woman letting a teenager ruin her life." Another posted, "Love is blind." And sometimes illiterate, a reality star said, "This is what happens when you marry your rebound evil spirit." Nobody mentioned Chrisean directly, but the subtext was so loud it practically filed for noise complaints. The celebrity shading Olympics were in full force, and while celebrities played philosophers, the internet went full comedy mode. Meme pages had a field day. One viral meme showed Chrisean signing marriage papers while a giant red flag waved behind her with the caption, "The prophecy was clear." Another had her husband holding her debit card like he found a treasure map. Someone edited him into a Grand Theft Auto Bank Fraud Edition cover art. The creativity was hilarious, disrespectful, and dangerously accurate. TikTok joined into reenactments, breakdowns, conspiracy theories, even dramatic readings of the leaked image, but the tragedy wasn't lost on everyone. There was a darker side that began to take over the narrative. Fans started saying they weren't just mad, they were heartbroken. Because Chrisean didn't get trapped by a seasoned scammer. She got trapped by a child. A literal teenager who saw a vulnerable woman and stepped into her life like a scammer stepping into a Cash App request. They said he saw her trust, her chaos, her instability, and her need for affection, and used it like a tool in a crime kit. Meanwhile, his supporters tried to spin the situation with mental gymnastics so wild they deserved Olympic medals. They said he didn't mean to, or it was both of them. Or he's just young. Young doesn't explain fraud. Young doesn't explain forged signatures. Young doesn't explain multiple transactions lined up like dominoes. Young doesn't explain the confidence he had bragging online, acting like he was running a Fortune 500 fraud empire instead of committing crimes from a cracked iPhone. The excuses were pathetic, but the biggest twist came from the celebrity commentators, the ones who love inserting themselves into mess they weren't invited to. One podcast host claimed he knew the real story and said Chrisean's husband had been planning this for months. Another said Chrisean confided in someone about feeling uneasy around him. Whether true or not, the rumors spread like wildfire. People began connecting dots that shouldn't even be in the same book. Then came Blueface. Because of course he showed up. He posted a laughing emoji and wrote, "Told y'all she don't listen." That single sentence detonated the internet. People said he was being petty. Others said he was right. Some said he was jealous. Some said he was enjoying the chaos too much. Regardless, his comment reignited all their old drama. Memes popped up showing Blueface shaking his head like a disappointed parent. Instagram trolls dragged both of them. It was a circus. And Blueface came dressed as ringmaster. Meanwhile, fans started wondering if the fraud was bigger than anyone realized. They questioned whether more people were involved. They questioned whether this was part of a bigger plan. They questioned whether the husband targeted Chrisean specifically because of her vulnerability. TikTok detectives started analyzing old videos of him, pointing out red flags with dramatic voiceovers. Even the way he blinked was suddenly suspicious to the internet. As the outrage grew, people demanded accountability. Not from her, from him. They said he deserved jail time, charges, consequences, the whole package. They said Chrisean wasn't a criminal, she was a victim of love, desperation, and catastrophic judgment. They started posting #FreeChrissie, even though she wasn't arrested yet. The fear was real. If investigators decided she participated, she could be facing charges she didn't even understand. And then came the most heartbreaking commentary of all, people saying Chrisean always picks the wrong people. Fans wrote, "How can someone with so much pain keep attracting worse pain?" Others said, "She needs therapy, not teenagers." People began talking about how she rushes into love because she never truly had stability. And now that desperation has placed her in the crosshairs of police, bloggers, and a husband who allegedly treats her identity like a toy. The memes were funny, but the reality was sinister. Someone allegedly close to the investigation leaked that law enforcement believed the husband was acting alone, but using her as the shield. If true, that meant he never loved her. He used her, targeted her, married her for access, not affection. And fans weren't ready for that emotional sucker punch. By this point, the outrage spiraled into a full conspiracy storm. People believed he married her with a premeditated plan. Others thought he had friends helping him. A few said he belongs to a scam ring. The theories got crazier by the minute, but they all shared one common villain, the 19-year-old husband who played Chrisean like a Wi-Fi password, and right when everyone thought it couldn't get darker. A source claimed investigators may want to speak to Chrisean directly. That sentence alone broke the internet. Because once the cops start talking, the real story begins. The fallout wasn't slow. It hit like a tidal wave crashing into a house made of paper. Once people realized investigators might want to question Chrisean directly, the tone shifted from laughing at the memes to genuine panic. The internet went from LOL she married a scammer to wait, is she about to get pulled into federal charges she didn't even commit? The jokes dried up real quick. Suddenly, everyone became lawyers, analysts, therapists, and federal advisors all at once. The fear wasn't cartoonish anymore. It felt real, heavy, and dangerously close to a worst-case scenario. Chrisean's silence didn't help. The longer she stayed offline, the more fans assumed she was spiraling or dealing with something bigger behind the scenes. People wrote, "Where is she? Is she okay? Did they contact her? Why isn't she denying anything?" And the sad truth, silence from Chrisean is never peaceful silence. It's the storm gathering before she explodes, cries, or collapses publicly. The timeline felt like everyone was holding their breath for her next move. Meanwhile, her husband kept posting like nothing was happening. That made everything 10 times worse. Fans begged him to stop talking, stop trolling, stop breathing on the internet, because every word he typed only made him look guiltier. But he continued posting cryptic messages, ad emojis, and defensive rants, digging a deeper hole with every tweet. It was the digital equivalent of holding a shovel during an investigation and shouting, "I didn't bury anything." Then came the emotional backlash. Fans who once adored their relationship began turning on him instantly. People said he didn't love her. He loved the access. They said he didn't protect her. He used her. They said she needed a man, not a liability disguised as a husband. Influencers started posting emotional videos, calling the situation textbook manipulation. Therapists began posting TikToks saying, Chrisean suffered from trauma bonding with dangerous partners. Even celebrities who previously stayed silent started hinting that they saw the red flags months ago. But the scariest part, the investigators allegedly believed he wasn't even smart enough to hide the evidence, meaning every traceable step pointed directly back to him, but unfortunately also pointed to Chrisean by association. That's when fans became enraged. They said she didn't deserve this. They said she already lived through Blueface's mess, family drama, custody battles, emotional breakdowns, and nonstop public humiliation, and now this. They said life had turned her into a tragedy magnet. Then a shocking rumor leaked. Someone close to the case said the bank flagged her because her name was attached to the fraudulent transactions. Fans lost their minds instantly. Why her? Why not him? And the answer was obvious, because the system always goes after the person with the bigger name, the one with money, the one with a public image they can pressure. Her husband didn't just trap her legally, he trapped her financially and reputationally. The internet began dragging him with no mercy. They called him a scammer, a child, a parasite, a walking crime alert, and the fastest career killer in America. One post said he didn't marry her for love. He married her for login access. Another said she needs a restraining order, not a wedding ring. Even people who usually hated Chrisean were defending her now, saying nobody deserved to be betrayed this badly by someone they trusted. Then things escalated again. A close source reportedly said Chrisean broke down crying after realizing her name was being investigated. Fans felt gutted. They said she wasn't built for federal-level pressure. They said she was already overwhelmed emotionally. They said this kind of betrayal could mentally destroy someone with her fragile history. Suddenly, the scandal wasn't funny. It was tragic. It was heartbreaking. It was a reminder that chaotic, loud, unpredictable people are often the most vulnerable to manipulation. News broke that she had confronted her husband off-camera about the allegations. He allegedly denied everything, then blamed her. that sent fans into a frenzy. Narcissist, manipulator, gaslighter, baby scammer energy. People said he trapped her, then tried to flip the narrative. They called it abusive, dangerous, and textbook fraud tactics. Meanwhile, Blueface couldn't resist jumping back into the drama. He posted a meme of himself eating popcorn, captioned, "I told her." Fans were divided. Some laughed. Some called him petty. Some said he was right. And some said he needed to worry about his own legal issues before laughing at hers. But his presence reignited their entire toxic history, making the situation feel even messier than it needed to be. Journalists began reporting that investigators might expand their search if they believed she signed anything or unknowingly participated. That single word, unknowingly, shook the entire internet, because fans knew if she was manipulated, coerced, or lied to, she could still be dragged into the case. People started urging her to get a lawyer immediately. Some even tagged attorneys under her posts. This wasn't drama anymore. This was legal survival. Then a disturbing detail surfaced. He allegedly encouraged her to open a joint account. That was the final nail. Fans realized he didn't just stumble into fraud. He prepared. He planned. He executed. And he did it in a way that would legally tie her to his actions. The betrayal became deeper, sharper, colder. This wasn't a mistake. This was a trap. The internet moved from laughter gives anger gives heartbreak gives protection in less than 24 hours. Fans said she needed therapy, security, lawyers, new friends, new paperwork, and a spiritual cleanse. They said she needed to get away from teenage liabilities and finally choose herself. They said she needed a wake-up call that love from the wrong person is deadlier than any enemy. And then another bomb dropped. A source claimed investigators might want to interview her and review her financial role. That line sent shockwaves across every platform. Because interviews lead to charges. Charges lead to records. Records lead to consequences she cannot afford. Fans begged her to run, not physically, but legally, to protect herself, to detach from him, to save her future. Because this wasn't just a scandal. This was a warning shot, a reminder that trusting the wrong person can ruin your entire life. And Chrisean Rock? She was standing on the edge of the biggest downfall or comeback she's ever faced. If you survived this roller coaster of betrayal, bank fraud, teenage chaos, and emotional whiplash without passing out, congratulations, you officially have a stronger heart than half the internet right now. Because this wasn't just drama. This wasn't just gossip. This was a full-blown, high-speed descent into chaos that even Hollywood writers would reject for being too unrealistic. Chrisean Rock didn't just marry a red flag, she married a neon sign that said "Do not touch" and then watched it explode in real time. So before the next plot twist slaps the timeline. Smash that like button like you're slapping the stupidity out of a 19-year-old scammer. Hit subscribe with the same force Chrisean uses when she charges into drama head first. And turn on notifications like investigators dialing her number. Because trust me, the next scandal is already loading like a Netflix autoplay countdown. Slide into the comments like you're entering a courtroom with popcorn. Tell me everything. Do you think he planned it? Was she truly blindsided? Should she run, block him, or hire a lawyer ASAP? Is this the biggest betrayal of the year or just Tuesday in the Chrisean universe? I'm reading every single comment like a detective with nothing but time and messy energy. And remember, this is celeb insanity, where scandals don't drop. They crash, burn, explode, and then leak more secrets. Where the truth comes dressed in chaos. Where celebrities accidentally go viral for all the wrong reasons. And where the next disaster is always waiting around the corner with a camera.